GraphView is the core interface technology for graph-based tools in the Unity editor. In this video, we will do a quick tour of GraphView's features. Nodes and edges are the most basic elements of a graph. Nodes have an input section and an output section. One node's output port can be connected to another node's input port by creating an edge. Possible connections are suggested by a ghost edge to the closest port. So far, we've looked at a simplistic test project, but in a more complex system like shader graph, this is very useful since some ports are not compatible. For example, you can connect a float to a float or a float to an int, but you can't connect a float to a texture. Each type is assigned a color to display the port and edge. Therefore, a gradient appears on the edge when a conversion happens between two types. Nodes can be collapsed to hide unconnected ports. Nodes can receive error badges as well as comment badges. The related information is displayed when hovering the badge. Nodes have an optional preview section which is used in shader graph for visualizing each step of the computation. Finally, the way nodes are created is by prompting a pop-up window on top of the graph. We're working on a brand new user interface for that, which will be the subject of a separate video. The blackboard is a heads-up display that defines which properties a graph accepts. For example, they can be material parameters like in shader graph, or public variables like in visual scripting. Properties in the blackboard can be edited and reordered by the user. One can create parameters in the blackboard and drag those references onto the canvas. The resulting node has an output port that can be connected to regular nodes in the graph. Users of graphs can place nodes into named groups for organizational purposes. Groups are purely visual and generally do not impact the logic of the graph. While freestanding nodes are designed for horizontal arrangement, stacks are meant to visualize sequential logic from top to bottom. Stacks can contain child nodes and have ports themselves to control the logical flow of the graph. Stacks have several micro-interactions like animation for dragging and reordering, placement indication, and a hotkey to insert a node. GraphView supports arbitrary panning and zooming. As much as possible, shapes, images, and text remain aligned to the screen pixel grid. There are several manipulators to change the current selection onto which hotkeys and contextual menus can operate. GraphView also supports undo, redo, copy-paste, and window view state restoration after a domain reload. GraphView is an experimental API in the 2018 release cycle. For more information, you can join Dev's GraphView on Slack. Thank you for watching.